Thanks for joining, everybody. We appreciate your investment of time to join us today. We've got a little bit of a different webinar today. We've got several customers that joined us in Las Vegas last month at Dell Technologies World. And I've asked a few of them to join us today to give their honest feedback and opinions and their insights, what jumped out at them and what, as I explained to one of them, what made them go, that's interesting, right? So hopefully this will be an interesting webinar for everybody. Please feel free at any time to stop us, raise your hand, come off mute if you have a question. We want this to be as interactive as you're comfortable with. We do have a lot of content, so let's go ahead and get going. Can we go to the next slide, please? My name is David Creo. I think I know everybody on the phone here today. For those that I have not met, I am the account executive for Davenport Group, covering the western half of North Carolina and the state of South Carolina. Quick introduction for Ben Smoker, pre-sales engineer extraordinaire. I tease Ben for those that y'all don't know him. For those of y'all that don't know him, I always tease Ben that he talks a little bit funny, and he quickly reminds me that he is the true Southerner, usually the only Southerner on the phone or in the room. So that's the two of us from DG. And if we can go to the next slide, please. We have some special guests today. Chris Koltek, Chris Morley, Matt Willard, Todd Shanley, and Atalia from our customer base. All these guys joined us in Las Vegas, and you will hear from each of them here in just a few moments. If we can go to the next slide. Okay, I'm going to make this really quick because I believe everybody on the phone that I can see looks like they're all familiar with Davenport Group. So I'll just give you a couple highlights. Davenport Group, as you know, we've been growing over the last few years. With that growth, we've acquired more and more capabilities. Two of those that I want to point out to you. We have a fully fledged managed service division now. We can help you with everything from assistance in your data center all the way through fully managing your data center. We've got a good relationship with TierPoint. We've got a partnership with TierPoint. We can move all the way through to hosting all your gear in a data center if that's what's required. The other thing that I want to point out to you guys is that we are now officially a Cisco partner. So for all those guys that have Cisco gear, are interested in Cisco gear, for all those guys that have come to the Davenport Group in the past and said, hey, can you help us out with our Cisco? The answer now is yes, we can help you out with that Cisco gear. So please keep that in mind, and let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, so as I mentioned, we've got a good group of folks that joined us at Dell Technologies World. I'm going to ask Chris Koltek, the CIO of Gastonia, the city of Gastonia, to come off mute. Chris, if you could give just a quick introduction of yourself and let us know what your impression was of Dell Tech World, and what jumped out at you and sparked your interest at DTW.
Well, thank you, David. My name is Chris Koltek. I've been CIO here in Gastonia for the last 2 years. Before that, I worked for State of North Carolina, Emergency Management, City of Jacksonville, Moore County, Catawba County, and so on and so forth. This was my second time I went to Dell Technology World. I think it's a great event. I really valued not only meeting in one place, a lot of brain power from Dell, a lot of engineers, a lot of solutions. I found a very intimate opportunity to sit down with solution that you're considering, solution that you have already on-prem, or solution that you have concerns with, and meet the right people, probably meet the best engineers in the industry for that specific solution. I went, I was a guest of Davenport, and I really value our opportunity to meet with colleagues in the profession, see what, approach they took to solve issues that we currently have, and hopefully, in return, offer some solutions that we have implemented, um, in the past. So I highly recommend. I think that's the best time spent. Vegas, from all the places in the world, I thought that maybe there would be some other places than Vegas, but location aside, I think that was one of the best events that I attended in a while. So that's all I have. If there's any questions or anything I can add, David is laughing. Next time you introduce me, maybe extraordinaire, you add to the end of it, just like you did with Ben. I think Ben deserves it. Stretch, but go ahead.
Chris, I think you enjoyed Vegas a little bit more than you're letting on, but
What happens there stays there. That's what I was told at the airport.
fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you. Chris Morley, systems admin at Cabarrus County. Can you come off mute and tell us your impressions of Dell Tech World, please?
Hi, thanks, David. Well, this is the second chance that I've had to go out there with Davenport Group, and it's really an amazing event. If you haven't had the chance to go there, I really think you should. There's just so much going on at all levels, all at the same time, really. But I think you're going to hear some common threads with everyone that's speaking today, and I'll kind of touch on those. But when you attend Dell Tech World, it's geared for all levels, from your Fortune 500 CEO down to your button pusher like myself. And that's really the strength, bringing everyone together like this, where you can really share, all of your experiences. What worked really great for me is the opportunities to speak to the engineers and the subject matter experts on all of Dell's line. Here in the county, we're looking to do a storage refresh. We're looking at PowerStore and PowerScale, and getting to meet with the guys who are actually engineering this stuff was just fantastic. In addition, they have places where you can go and you can get hands-on with the interface, and you can touch it and see it, and get the feel for what it would be like in your own environment. And then you could also take your Dell exams for this hardware if that's what you wanted to do. They have test reviews and testing, and there's a lot of things going on like that. The theme this year was AI. It was AI everything, everywhere. They're telling you the future is now, the AI revolution is here. Jump on the AI train now, or you're going to get left behind. They can't tell you how AI is going to change your business or your community, but they're telling you that they've got the hardware to do whatever it is that you can dream up. And what that kind of told me is, when we're talking AI, you need to think for a minute about how it's going to be best to serve you, versus just throwing money into a big hole and saying, I'm buying something AI ready because AI and we got to do it. But really, I think the most valuable part to me was getting to network with my friends and neighbors through Davenport. Getting to meet Chris and Matt and Natalia and talk about what it is that we do locally and learning from one another. I think I gained as much sitting eating waffles with these guys as I did talking to any of the Dell reps. And it really opened my eyes to how I could do my job better. I know we had some conversations that benefited them just as much. So again, I totally recommend, doing this, experiencing it, and it's definitely worth your time. And again, thank you to Davenport for giving me the opportunity to come here and do this. You guys are great.
We appreciate you coming with us, Chris. It was a good time.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you guys in Cabarrus especially are making use of AI. And if the answer is no, then the answer is no. But was there any
No.
particular AI technology that you saw at Dell Tech World that jumped out at you?
A lot of what they were pushing, it was really high-end on-prem stuff. If I were the state of North Carolina, I think there would have been more tech there that would have spoken to me than, my little Cabarrus County. But, if you're a larger market, I think that there was a lot of stuff. They had some really neat, multi GPU servers, liquid cooling stuff. There's some really, really cool stuff if you've got the kind of data center that needs it.
Cool. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you, Chris. Natalia, systems admin from Gaston County, North Carolina. Can you come off mute and tell us your impressions of Dell Tech World?
Yes. Hey, everyone. My name is Natalia McCurry, and I'm the sysadmin for Gaston County. A few of the things that Christopher mentioned definitely hit the nail on the head. And one of the major things that I really enjoyed as a first-time participant was the fact that you can meet so many people from all over the world, not just, okay, it's just here, this is what's happening, but it's all over the world. And those that are in the same field that you are, they're doing the same type of line of work that you are. And it just brings so much, so many ideas that you want to implement, and you're seeing that it's happening at other places on the other side of the continent. And those are things that inspire me to continue what I do and make my job enjoyable. The two of the things that I found at the expo were the aside from AI being the main topic, is just the use. One of them that we're presenting was AI in the healthcare sector. And that is truly promising because even though I'm no longer directly involved in that field, we do support multiple end users here within the healthcare environment. And it's inspiring to witness that technology of AI coming together to assist workers and then alleviate that burden that they have, prevent burnout. I wish I saw this back in 2020. But this is just proof that there are things that are happening, and it's just a roadmap of what will happen in the future. The other thing that I enjoyed was having a conversation with the gentleman presenting from Amarillo, Texas, where they're integrating AI into their city website. So I had a small conversation just asking what were the implementation challenges that he encountered. And I did give him my contact information because it was something that we wanted to do and we wanted to see it happen. But I want to just get more information on what I need to look out for and how to go about things here. Aside from that, just enjoying conversations with everyone that was with us every morning in the waffle crew, I want to call it. But it was great to have conversations with everyone in the field and what they're experiencing at their, not only their job, but what they envision for what is going to happen in their field. Thank you, Davenport, for the opportunity because that was really amazing. I would love to attend to more of them, but I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Natalia, you mentioned the international presence that was there. I
Yes.
didn't join there were at least two international lounges, I'll call them. There was the EMEA, the Middle Eastern Africa lounge, and
Yes.
there was the APAC lounge. Did you get to interact with any of those people directly?
I
know I
believe they
did.
were part of it. I didn't go in there. I thought it was an exclusive club, but um, I actually interacted with some that were part of that hub. However, we interacted in one of those Power Edge presentations, those side presentations that you had on the other floors.
Mhm.
And I did meet some girls from Oman, and they work with the servers. So that was really, really exciting to know that it as a woman in the field, it's super exciting to see others doing the same thing that you are. So you're not in the same struggle, so to speak. So that was really exciting. Very happy
Good,
about that.
good. And on that point with the gentleman from Amarillo, is that something, what he was doing? Is that something that y'all are going to maybe look at in Gaston County?
We are looking at, we're just trying to get all the guidelines and just right now we're focusing on the strategy that we want to implement, because we have to be not only just using the AI, but also making sure it's secure, because security is a topic that is really, we encourage it, so we want to continue that.
Cool. So two things, Natalia, real quickly. One, if you need help getting more information from that gentleman, let me know. And
Sure.
two, when you do get that information, in the spirit of the webinar, please be sure and share it with this team, right? With the extended
Absolutely.
team. So
Absolutely.
we'll look forward to that.
Absolutely.
Mr. Willard, town of Mooresville, can you come off mute and tell us your thoughts on Dell Tech World?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Matt Willard. I'm the infrastructure manager for the town of Mooresville. I've been here going on 19 years and started as the button pusher, started as an IT tech, and went up to systems admin, and now infrastructure manager. And we've had Dell in our shop the whole time I've been there. And we've gone from Compellent and Isilon all the way up through Power Store and Power Scale, along with one thing we do that I don't think any of the other people that are presenting here are doing was we also do Avamar and Cyber Recovery Vault. And I say that to say when we transition from Compellent to Power Store, and likewise when we transition from Isilon to Power Scale, Dell Tech World, the first time I've been, this is my third time going, it was super beneficial because I can go and sit in classes and I can sit in sessions and I can gear that towards kind of what I want to see and the things that I want to look for. And then right after that, with all this information overload that you get from these sessions, because let's face it, any conference you go to, it's a 45-minute blast of just information after information. So when I take that, I can now go to the engineers that Chris Coltick was talking about, and I can go to a table and I can talk with the Power Store engineer, and I can ask the Power Store guy, hey, how is it that your software is going to go from a 4-to-1 compression to a 5-to-1 compression with just a software update? Walk me through that. How does that help us in our roadmap moving forward 2, 5, 7 years down the road? When you get finished with that, it's a very short walk to talk to power scale people and ask them how they're getting 20% more efficiency out of their software. You sit in another session talking about Avamar and Cyber Recovery Vault. All these people are in one specific room. And I say that kind of stuff to say that there's a lot of conferences that you go to that have these type of opportunities, but what you don't get is the personal Davenport connection that they can call somebody and go, hey, I got a customer that wants to talk to you specifically about this. So you're not one of 10,000 going to a booth and talking the same things over and over again. You actually have a one-on-one configuration with a specific Davenport individual and a Dell individual with that. So for me, that is very beneficial, especially again, being a full Dell shop, being able to see their roadmap on forward thinking on where you're at in 5 years, where you're at in 7 years, and kind of making sure you're gearing the price for what you're paying for this equipment, you're getting the most out of it and kind of knowing where they're going with it down the road. And I think all of the guys and ladies that spoke so far have talked about collaboration. I know we're wanting to get a collaboration time together in this region for the people that potentially are on the call for that. But again, just to be able to sit down with everybody at breakfast and go, I went to a session yesterday and it was this. How do you think this would fit into this? And then you have Dave talking about, oh, well, you're wanting to do that. Well, let me get you in touch with these people that I know are here, and then we can talk about these things and add these other things to it. So it's not just dropping you off at a 10,000 person conference and going, let me know what you think. It's real world, get together, collaborate, talk about it over dinner. We had many, I think me and Chris Morley had many conversations on camera systems and how we're going to implement. We've implemented PowerScale. He's looking to implement PowerScale. So we can learn from each other. I can talk to him about how the town has done PowerScale so far, and he can talk to us about the new things that are coming up that we may not be aware of. So those type things are invaluable to me, and to have that opportunity to go there and have those intimate one-on-one talks with different people there, it does make you feel like you're getting the most out of it. And I mean, without Davenport having the opportunity and the relationships with Dell they have, I think it would be hard to get that type of service in a very large conference. And with that, I mean, I appreciate the time and I appreciate Davenport allowing us to speak and share our experiences too.
Thanks, Chris, or thanks, Matt. I appreciate you. Matt, I got one question for you actually. So far, everybody's mentioned Dell, right? There were third-party vendors in the conference hall, and I know a week or two ago when I asked you to participate in this, you had specified two technologies that
Yeah.
really grabbed your attention. Can you
So
give
two
us
of
30
them,
seconds on those?
yeah, one Italia had already hit on. It was an AI, and they're out of Raleigh. And I tell you what, if you can remember the name of the company, Prion, I'm sorry, it slipped my mind, but Prion is the one that is doing that Amarillo AI. So, and you go across country to find out they're in Raleigh. There's another group that was Pro Lion that we spoke to that has a lot with security on the power scale side and being able to AI see an attacker and lock out a stream to where they can't make changes to a file structure. So to be able to go to the vendor booths and seek out those specific people was beneficial too. And then you make those connections internal during the conference, and then again they're 3 hours away from us in Raleigh, so we can go talk to them when we start those conversations.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you. And last but not least, Todd Shanley, CIO at Cabarrus County. Todd, can you come off and tell us your impressions of the event?
Yeah, thanks, David. Yeah, I echo a lot of things everybody has said. This was my first time attending Dell World. I've attended a ton of international conferences through the years, and this one without fail is one of the bigger or better ones that I've been to. I was telling someone the other day that I felt like every day there were multiple sessions that would have been keynotes at any of those sessions that I had gone to. And the fact that you're in the room with, while it be a huge room and a large area, you have at least a chance to chat your question to Michael Dell or the president of NVIDIA, to see him live and in person, and that, cool black leather jacket he wears everywhere he goes, that kind of stuff. And then, just to hear, like everybody's mentioned, AI was beat to death, but there were some really good, interesting conversations from folks who really come at it from a different perspective, from around the world. So I really kind of dug into one, and the way they were talking about how the ethics of some of the things that we're trying to do, and as we kind of move forward on each of our own individual AI journeys, especially here in local government, you really have to take a lot of those pieces into play, and kind of we're working all of that out in our areas. I've been very blessed and lucky to have here at Cabarrus. I've been here 28 years, so I've been the CIO for the last 6, and in management for many years before that. And not just for myself, but for the entire team, we recognized a long time ago that the opportunity to do continuous learning and to get into these things are important. It's not just for the if we don't continue to understand where the technology is going, we're going to fall behind as in the roles we're at. So if you ever have an opportunity to attend this, I definitely highly recommend it. And if you have opportunities or run into struggles with your boards or your management team in trying to sell them on letting you go to attend a part of this, let me know. I would be glad to speak to someone's management team and explain to them that this isn't just hey, it's not a good time. Well, we like everybody said, having the opportunity to have that chance to get together and spend time with folks, it's the training and continuing learning is invaluable as technologists. We really have to keep up with that. The other part for me was the access to not just the Davenport team. The Davenport team has grown a lot. I've been a customer for 20 years or so. So I've known Paul Clifford for a long, long time. So, but he has grown that team, to such scale that to get that many of the Davenport team in one place to really talk about direction and how they can help support us was invaluable. But then also the access to Dell leadership and to be able to give our opinion of how we see things happening here on the ground to that team, and then genuinely listen. It was really refreshing. I had some great conversations with Dell management folks at that level to be able to say, I have, like Matt, I was a compellant guy. So, we've had compellant for years, and it really broke my heart when they moved away. Not that me telling them here at Little Cabarrus County made, a difference or moved the needle with them, but be able to kind of explain to them what features and things happen there that impact that. And it's not just, they need to kind of keep aware of that. So it was great. And the fact that, the Davenport group, it was the 2024 Partner of the Year is a big deal. They don't toot their own horn enough about that, but I think you'll see some more about that. But that was a pretty amazing thing to see. Chris Morley and I obviously spent some time together, in a couple sessions, and it was funny for him to lean over to me at one point and say, "Wow, this puts things in perspective." You kind of have to figure out that we are just kind of a small player, or we have our little piece of the pie, but if you take the time to look into, okay, well, we may not be here today. All of this water cooled, solutions for your data center and all of that may seem very futuristic for us, but I think there's some of those things are on the roadmap or need to be for us. So it gives us that opportunity to go, okay, well, we need to start wrapping our head around on what's going on there. And then I think, David, you hit it on the head with the fact that it's not just Dell, but you get into that tech floor, and there are tons of other vendors. So NVIDIA had a big presence, Samsung had a huge presence, and then there's tons of other partners that are there. One of the ones that caught my eye was the fact that data protection is a thing that keeps me up at night, right? So I wake up worried about how the hacker's going to make my day miserable today. So data protection and how we restore things or how we're interacting with it. So Druva was there, and so they have this fairly large presence on the floor that you're basically having a session with those folks to be able to kind of see what they're doing with data protection. And then you walk around the corner, and the one that Matt mentioned about ProLine, they're very similar. So you're able to kind of juxtapose those two different partners of Dell at the same location and kind of go back and forth in the same day or in the same hour and kind of go, well, tell me how you're, and get all of that all at once. To be able to get that, I'm a big believer in Nickel Jesus here in North Carolina, and we have great partners who attend that, but rarely do you get that level or scale of that deep dive into the technology itself. It's usually, in those other locations, it's a good introduction to start having a conversation about our needs. But when you get into this level, you're really drilling into, a problem. So if you come with ideas or problems, you really get the opportunity to having said that, you get out of it what you put into it. So if you go in there looking just to get swag, there's plenty of that. But if you have issues that you're trying to address for your organization, you can definitely get answers. So I thought that was a great thing. I felt like the ability to bring everyone together. I've known Coltick a long time, so it was great to spend time with him and catch up and compare stories of where we're headed and what we're doing next. So the ability for us to all come together and talk to folks. I was comparing it the other day to like when you were a kid and you're blowing bubbles, and then you would see your bubble and the other bubble, they start to get together, and the bubble would only get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that's what I think I visualize when I think about this opportunity. So having said that, we are going to partner with the Davenport group here at Cabarrus. We have a conference center that is just off 85 that we have access to, and it doesn't cost us any money to use. So hopefully around the July 25th date, we're going to host an event. So if you weren't able to get to Dell World, we can start fostering some of this in-person interaction and get some of those creative juices and things flowing again. So I hope you're able to attend and look for some stuff from the Davenport group on that.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you. Can everybody hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Yep. Okay, cool. My Wi-Fi just glitched on me. I wasn't sure. Can we go to the next slide, Kylie, please? Thank you very much. So we're going to pass it over to Ben Smoker now. All our customers that just participated, thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. Had a great time with y'all in Vegas. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Glad y'all got some benefit out of it. Had a really good time with you guys. Appreciate you investing the time and going. Smoker, you've got, looks like 27 minutes, probably a little bit shorter of that. And just a reminder, Smoker, to Todd's point, we're going to try to go deep dive in this in late July. So don't feel like you got to cross every T if you don't want to. I'll pass it to you. Thank you, sir.
Yep, good deal. I would say that today, what we're going to do is we're going to whet your appetite with a little appetizer into a lot of these conversations. And if you want to get the full entree, then plan to be there in the July 25 event where we can dig deeper into some of these things. All of our customer speakers so far have sort of laid things up, made it really easy for me to transition into this part of the conversation. There was an emerging theme, and the emerging theme, although I will get to that, of AI everything. Did you notice how many times it was that Willard and Chris Coltick and Chris Morley, Atalia, Todd were all mentioning it's great to get together with your peers. It's great to get together with Davenport Group, and then you get access to broader Dell collaboration and partnership. And part of the pleasure of being a Davenport Group employee is things that you get as customers. You get those access to those people once a year at Dell Technologies World. And I'm not saying this to name drop or toot our horn or anything, but for instance, anyone that went to technical sessions on PowerStore, I know that their main PowerStore presenter was a gentleman by the name of Jody Hoagland. Jody Hoagland was doing multiple sessions per day on PowerStore. I basically got Jody Hoagland on speed dial. Whenever I need to know something, we heard a rumor about a PowerStore issue last week, and within half an hour of that issue bubbling to the surface, we had Jody Hoagland coming back to us and saying, well, there's bits of that are true, but other bits of it aren't true, and here's what you need to know, and here's what you need to be familiar with. So, if you think about your organization, you don't have that level of access into those people. And I would say my role at Davenport Group, I don't know everything. But Henry Ford, back in the early days of the motor car, Henry Ford said this fairly profound statement. He said, "I don't even know how to build a Model T car, but I know all of the people who do." And that's really having access to people like myself. I don't know the answers to everything, but generally speaking, I'm going to know the people who do. So we're all about collaboration and partnership, and Dell Technologies World certainly amplifies that in a fairly condensed period of time. Chris Morley said this. He said Dell's point of view is that Dell Tech World this year was the year of AI everything. So he almost stole the thunder, but let's say he didn't steal the thunder. He reinforced it. In Dell's perspective and Dell's point of view, this year was the year of AI everything. And I know that there's some quote unquote AI almost built into Teams, such that anytime if I try and do something like put a piece of paper in front of me, Teams tries to block it out. There you go. See, Teams blocks out that piece of paper because it wants to focus on me. And the same is true of my cell phone. People are wondering, where is Smoker going with this? Well, here's my cell phone in front of me right now. And AI didn't block it out. Those are some tech stocks that I follow. And the reason why I'm showing you my phone is this. People are often saying at the moment in the world of AI, people are saying, man, I wish I'd bought stock in NVIDIA 12 months ago. Well, let's have a look at NVIDIA right now on my cell phone. 12 months ago, NVIDIA is up 215% in the last 12 months. No wonder you're saying, I wish I bought NVIDIA 12 months ago. But here's an interesting thought. Dell Technologies are up 175 points in the last 12 months as well. And I challenge you, if you go look at all of the major tech stocks, I follow Dell, Pure Storage, Nutanix, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, NetApp, Cisco, Amazon, Microsoft, Micron, NVIDIA, Broadcom. You go look at all of these tech stocks out there. There are only two companies in the whole world that have had that exponential growth in the last 12 months. It's NVIDIA and Dell. That is not a coincidence. If you go look at what NVIDIA are doing, NVIDIA's number one hardware partner by a mile is Dell. Everyone's jumping on the NVIDIA bandwagon, but no one's better positioned to do NVIDIA partnerships than what Dell are. And so that's no coincidence. So, it's the year of AI everything, and it may not, you might say, well, I don't need AI. Some people are scared of AI. Don't be scared of AI. But there's that old saying, and this is a saying worth throwing out there. If you don't like change, because that's what AI is going to bring. If you don't like change, you're going to hate irrelevance. You really will. You don't have to be doing AI right now, but you do really need to be investing in understanding it and dipping your toes in the water, looking around to see if you can find an actual use case. Because it's not AI for the sake of AI. You want to find a use case where you can make things better. If it's not making anything better, why are you doing it? And if you're going to do AI, your AI program is going to be no better than the quality of the data that goes in. People used to use the GIGO statement, garbage in, garbage out. But AI is worse than garbage out. AI will amplify. It will amplify the effects of bad data. You've got to have good data in order to get good results. You need to have good software. That gets overlooked. Everyone's obsessive about all of the hardware required, but you've got to have good software to do AI work. Good hardware, that just makes sense. That's about your partnership with Dell and with Davenport Group. You've got to have good partners anytime you're having an AI conversation. Matt Willard mentioned Prion and their capabilities around AI and partnerships that they have. They're tightly partnered with Dell. They've been partnering with Davenport Group. And through our relationship, once again, partnership with Chris Coltec, it was only a couple of months ago now that we held an executive briefing with Dell in Gaston County, in Gastonia itself, and we were meeting with people from the Prion company there. So partnership is really, really important, and that's what we try and do. We try and be good partners to you as our customers, but we also partner with Dell and with ancillary companies as well. And of course, good people. You provide good people, you be good customers. We'll try and be good people over here at Davenport Group. You provide the good data, and then we'll get you all of the rest of the good stuff that you need to do an AI program. So that's really all we want to cover there, but we will start to dive into some of these things in the next few slides. And understanding we're moving pretty quickly today. Server innovations. Not a huge amount to know from Dell Technologies World this year, which is interesting because Dell Technologies are the #1 server manufacturer and provider in the world. But there wasn't a huge lot, but we will cover a couple of things. First one, PowerEdge XE9680L. If you really follow the industry closely, you might scratch your head and say, well, hang on, there already was an XE9680. What's so special about this L? As compute density becomes more and more of an issue, and compute power becomes so incredible, and we're almost at this point of exponential compute power growth. Moore's law for many years has said that compute power will double every 2 years and halve in cost. It's going at a rate of more than double at the moment. And so we're at that point where liquid cooling comes into play. Todd Shanley even mentioned it already here today. Interesting stuff around liquid cooling. Now, liquid cooling has a downside. And here's the downside of liquid cooling. Right now, we're at the point, half a dozen people have already mentioned how good the waffles were out at Dell Technologies World. You can pour waffle batter on top of a server right now, and it'll cook your waffles for you. The moment we add liquid cooling, you're going to lose the ability to cook your waffles on top of your servers. So just joking in that. But liquid cooling's real. It's a real challenge. It's a real issue. And of course, if you don't go down the path of liquid cooling, you can't get access to the highest levels of performance that some people need for their workloads. And the specific need in the XE9680L, the reason why it needs liquid cooling is because even though the XE9680 could take 8 NVIDIA GPU cards, the 9680L can take 8 of the NVIDIA Blackwell, the very latest NVIDIA card. And that thing is such a beast. If you go sticking 8 of those inside a 4RU chassis, it has to be liquid cooled. There's no other option. So if you say, I don't want to invest in liquid cooling, well, that's fine, but maybe you're only going to be able to put 4 of those GPU cards per server. And so you're going to double your server costs in order to avoid liquid cooling. So there's a lot, talk to us, Davenport Group. We may not be experts per se in liquid cooling, but we'll get you access to the people that you do need. Many of my customers on this call today already know, I've already been talking to you. Start thinking about deeper racks. Even if you're not going down the path of liquid cooling, depth is important. Depth is helping at the moment. As far as generational upgrades go, Dell Technologies World did not announce what I'm about to tell you now, but it is now public knowledge. 15G servers. So if you've got PowerEdge, R650s, R750s, R250s or 350s, smaller ones if you've got those out there, the X50 series servers, or if you're using AMD, things like 6515, 6525s, they're going to go end of sale late this calendar year. So you've got a few months left. If you want more 15G servers to match what you've already got in your fleet, talk to your Davenport Group representatives ASAP so that we get that before supplies are gone. 16G continues to be mainstream. 17G has not been announced yet, but you can pretty much expect once 15G has gone into sale later this year, 17G will probably be a big hot topic at Dell Technologies World next year. So just get you ahead of the curve on that. Let's look at the next slide. Storage. Storage is a gigantic focus for Dell Technologies every year. I would personally say storage is even a bigger focus in most cases than what server side of things is. And PowerStore, 2 big announcements this year, including some interesting partnership announcements. Matt Willard mentioned the company called ProLion and their ability to do cyber resiliency in PowerScale clusters. Another interesting thing that ProLion offer a high availability NAS solution for Dell PowerStore. Dell PowerStore has great NAS capability, built-in NAS if you need it. It's no replacement for PowerScale. If you need, if you tell me I've got 50 terabytes or 40 terabytes of data, I'm going to tell you that PowerStore is probably not the best NAS solution for you. PowerScale probably is. But if you're only running, 5 terabytes of NAS data or something like that, then maybe putting it onto a PowerStore with your virtualization environment might make sense. One of the weaknesses of PowerStore is it's had NAS ever since version 1.0. It's had asynchronous replication for a while now. But one of the challenges that not just PowerStore, nearly all NAS solutions from nearly all manufacturers have found consistently over the years, it's a lot easier to replicate data from prod to DR than it is to initiate the failover of NAS. Failover of block storage, failover of your virtualization environment has been mainstream for many years now, but failover of NAS has been a perpetual challenge to the industry. So Dell with ProLion now have a NAS failover solution if that's an important issue to you, and it can also facilitate failback as well. But the PowerStore 4.0 code is out and mainstream now. It includes a lot of really good new features, one of which is this. And I'm going to get onto VMware in just a minute. But a lot of customers are now talking to Davenport Group and saying, tell me what are my alternatives to VMware? And people are out there and they're saying, I'm looking at Proxmox and various other things. A lot of the solutions that people are looking at right now, you can't get good 24/7 fast access to engineering resources. It's not to say the underlying technology is bad, but it's going to be really hard to explain to leadership why, if something ever goes wrong and you tell them that the service level agreement for a response is I send them an email and they respond within 24 hours. That's just not good enough for most of Davenport Group's customers. So, what are your alternatives? Well, some people say, well, I'm looking at Linux-based hypervisors, whether it be KVM or Red Hat solutions or whatever it may be. But up until now, PowerStore hasn't been able to do the highest levels of availability, metro clustering, where you have active synchronous replication with automated failover. It's only been available with VMware. But with PowerStore 4.0, they announced that metro clustering is now available with Linux-based hypervisors, and it's also available with Microsoft Hyper-V. So if you say, I'm interested in talking about Hyper-V and what Hyper-V can do for me. Well, if you have PowerStore, or if you're looking at PowerStore, suddenly Microsoft Hyper-V becomes a far more relevant conversation due to that one upgrade. Dell also came out with the 3200Q, which is a QLC-based PowerStore array. In theory, it's a lower price point per terabyte. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in a really large capacity, and it needs to be very large capacity to make sense with this model. If you're interested in it, please talk to us about it. PowerScale, a lot of interest in PowerScale nowadays. It's got so many use cases that it solves to. It solves to video surveillance. It solves to security log aggregation. It solves to large file servers. It's brilliant at doing backups. A lot of backup software companies integrate really well with PowerScale. And they came out with a new code release, the 1FS 9.8.0. One of the attractions to me that really picked my ears up was that they've massively improved sequential write performance, which if you're using PowerScale for video surveillance, what is video surveillance? It's sequential write, nearly 100% sequential write. The same is true of backups. Backups are nearly always 100% sequential write, and there's big performance improvements there. And in terms of hardware, they've got F910 nodes. I promise you that for most of you on this call today, you probably don't need F910 nodes. You want them, but you may not need them. They're very big, very fast, very expensive for doing massive workload AI computations. Lots of exciting stuff coming up there in the near future. If you're a PowerScale customer and you want to know about it, or you're a prospective PowerScale customer, reach out to us after this, but we need to keep moving for now. Next slide.
Walker, I'm going to give you the 350 time check.
I understand, and I'll move very quickly. As far as networking goes, I'll give you, because we're moving quickly, If you're out there and you have Dell N series switches, so in your wiring closets, all of your printers and all of the endpoints and everything are connected into Dell N series switches, those are effectively end of sale life now, and they won't be coming back. The operating system that most of those ran was an operating system called OS 6. It's gone end of life with the N series switches, and Dell doesn't have a particularly good replacement for them. They do have a replacement. It's Davenport Group's opinion that it's not as good. You're almost downgrading to go with the replacement, and it just doesn't work for most people. Dell is strong still in data center switching, and they'll be relevant there for years to come. Dell have made strategic bets and investments in Sonic OS as the replacement for OS 6, and eventually will be the replacement for OS 9 and 10. Big networking innovations with Broadcom and NVIDIA, as you know, the ability to run software-defined networking on the network card itself through the use of DPU, data processing units, to do things like if you're interested in doing NSX, VMware NSX, you can run it on the network card itself rather than passing it across the PCI bus into the CPU. Lots of advantages. Don't have time to go into it right now. If you're interested, reach out. David's laughing. That's what I got to do. Let's keep moving. Next slide. Good partners. Yes, it was mentioned already. Thank you, Todd, for calling out the fact that Davenport Group was the National Marketing Partner of the Year. We were not the National Pre-Sales Partner of the Year, and I'm still bitter and twisted about that, but I'll just have to do better next year, and probably I'll have to talk less and talk faster or something like that. So congratulations to our marketing team. Nearly all of you customers will know that when COVID happened, our marketing team, they pretty much mastered the art of nationwide webinars to keep everyone informed when we couldn't get together in person. So good recognition for our marketing team there. And we hope that long continues. Dell have announced a bigger partnership with Nutanix, but it was a lot more talk than it was real world. There's literally nothing. There's nothing available now from Dell in terms of Nutanix that wasn't available 6 months ago. But if you are a Nutanix customer or you're interested in becoming a Nutanix customer, it's very much worth knowing that Dell are expanding their relationship with Nutanix. And so if you want to get, the Nutanix product on really good quality hardware, Dell's a great direction to be looking. And also, Nutanix, it's not a cheap product. It really isn't. It's quite a pricey product. And all software-defined, all hyperconverged solutions, a lot of the cost is the way that hyperconverged does the storage. So Nutanix announced a partnership with Dell on their PowerFlex product that allows you to run the compute in the Nutanix and the storage in the PowerFlex. Key thing that you need to know about that is Nutanix, when Nutanix announced it, they said PowerFlex is the first external storage. We expect to see future partnerships that Nutanix will have with other storage. Personally, I'm not as excited about Nutanix with PowerFlex as I will be on the day when maybe, it hasn't been announced yet, but if Nutanix ever says we're going to partner with Dell on PowerStore, that to me, my ears will prick up at that. That'll make a ton of sense. And I already alluded to data protection partnerships, that Dell have a lot of partnerships there, both for data domain, all of the usual suspects for backup software. You can partner with data domain or with PowerScale. Next slide, and I think I'm getting towards the conclusion here. Elephant not in the room. Because it wasn't in the room, we probably won't spend too much time on this, but VMware was hardly even at Dell Technologies World. One of my peers and the pre-sales team lead for Davenport Group, Brian Moran, was at Dell Technologies World. He looked at this slide deck. He goes, he noticed that I put VMware's presence was very minimal. He goes, minimal? He says, I walked around all week and I couldn't find anyone from Broadcom or VMware the whole time. There was no VMware booth. There were no VMware employees. If they were there, they were going incognito, and they were certainly not wearing shirts with badges on the front and targets on the back. So, they weren't very present at Dell Technologies World. If you go look at the agenda for VM Explore, the VMware conference, Dell are not even listed as a bronze level sponsor there. So it's fair to say that the breakup is a little bit interesting. However, terms and conditions have been announced that Dell and VMware are getting the OEM partnership partnership together for VxRail. That's very important to VxRail customers. And so they're making progress there. I got 2 dates there you need to know about. April 2, 2025. That's end of support for vSphere 7 and vSAN 7. You must think about that now. We're 10 months away from end of support for vSphere 7 and vSAN 7. And then October 2027 is when vSphere 8 and vSAN 8 are going to be supported out too. I don't even have time to talk about expired perpetual licenses. Let me put it to you like this. If you're running VMware now and you haven't yet had a conversation with Davenport Group, it's time to be scheduling some time with Farron, myself, or David to talk about what we know about Broadcom and VMware. We can help you, but we can't help you if we're not having the conversations. Next slide. Apex. Okay. 2 years ago at Dell, all they wanted to talk about was Apex. Last year at Dell, all they wanted to talk about was Apex. This year, all they want to do is talk about AI. So Apex, Dell tends to sometimes bounce from one guardrail to the next. We don't yet know what the next guardrail will be, but the big hype, the big focus right now is on AI. Apex hasn't gone away. Matter of fact, just 2 hours ago today, Davenport Group were on our weekly call with Dell. And guess what? They've talked to us for an hour. Apex. It's still out there. It's still available. If you're looking at a different consumption model, if you're looking at hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, talk to us. We know Apex pretty well inside and out. You say, what even is it? It's all of the products in the Dell bag that you can buy today, but it's a different way of consuming them, and it can be a different way of managing them as well. So it's definitely still out there. And I think with that, I may be wrapped up, and I think are we handing the football back to David at this point?
Thank you, Smoker. Appreciate you. Can we go ahead and go? Let me see. Oh, Summer Technology Talk. Great. Thank you. I would have forgotten this. Everybody on the call, I think just about everybody on the call today talked about the collaboration and the benefit of collaborating together in Las Vegas. We did it every morning over waffles. I think Italia mentioned the great waffles that we had. We did it a little bit less at lunch, but we also did it in the evening. And it sounds like Willard and Morley got together on the floor and did some more even. We are looking to continue helping with the collaboration. And Todd and Cabarrus County have been gracious enough to volunteer to be a host on July. Help me out with the date, guys. I'm going to say 25th. It's a Thursday. I'll confirm. Yes, July 25th is our target date. Please mark that on your calendar. We would love to have everyone attend. Please feel free to share that information with your friends that are at other entities. They don't have to be state and local governments. We would love to have as many people join as possible. Todd, how many people can your event site handle? 200?
200, easy.
200?
Yeah, 2.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So we've got plenty of room. It'd be great if we could fill it up and maybe have a little overflow. That would be awesome. Next slide, please. Awesome. Does anybody have any questions? I know we're limited on time, but would anybody like to come off mute and ask a question? Justin Roberts, I'm not calling you out. I guess I am calling you out. Justin joined us in Las Vegas as well. Thanks for joining today, Justin. If you got anything to say, any 2 cents you want to add, feel free. If anybody else would like to ask a question, feel free as well. Justin, I had you for a second there, but I couldn't quite catch that.
I was going to say, can you guys hear me now?
We got you clear, loud and clear.
Sorry. Yeah, I was going between the computer and my phone audio, so I wasn't sure which one was clicking in. No, nothing really to add. I think that was a great presentation, Ben. Just all the Davenport group. I think you guys did a great job covering what we're doing over here at Dell, and obviously, like you said, I think collaboration and a partnership is what we harp on the most. So moving forward, obviously, we just try to continue to strengthen that and just keep trucking with all the new innovations and things. And you guys did a great job today. So appreciate the invite.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate you. If there's no other questions, again, please mark your calendars for July. I'm going to have to go check my calendar again. 25th, Thursday, July 25th, Cabarrus County. We hope to have as many people as we can get there for another collaborative event. And if we could go to the next slide, please. For those of you still on the phone, if you would please take note of this slide and send a message to marketing@Davenport Group with the code word recap in the subject line. We will send you out your Grubhub gift card for joining today. We really appreciate you guys for joining. Hope you got some benefit out of this. We wanted to make it a little bit different. We wanted to give not a sales pitch, but wanted to give real life feedback from customers. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for joining. We appreciate y'all. Look forward to talking to everybody soon.